All this week on the Happy Families podcast, it's been a conversation about body image, following up from the third episode of Parental Guidance on Channel 9. If you haven't checked it out yet, you can stream it via replay on 9 now. G'day, welcome to the Happy Families podcast. It's real parenting solutions every day on Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast, where Justin and Kylie Coulson, really tough conversation today. We're talking about eating disorders and more specifically the impact of anorexia. What are the stats? 90% of teenagers have negative thoughts about their bodies. We have far too many of our, mainly young women, although young men to a lesser degree, who are really struggling with psychologically challenging issues around body image that lead to, in some cases, the very worst of outcomes. Kylie, we were introduced to 4 new focus families.
Elvie and Sean.
We are authoritative parents.
We have high expectations on our children. In the meantime, we set strict rules and boundaries.
Nick and Sophia.
We're the positivity parents where confidence is key.
Josh and Cassie.
We are the life school parents and we use real life experiences to educate our kids.
And Amanda and Hassan.
We choose to parent the hard way. We don't take shortcuts. It's hard on us, but easy and fun for the kids.
Everyone say cheese.
On this week's episode of Parental Guidance, we met an incredible young woman who was gripped by this deadly disease of the mind.
Force yourself to eat it, Ashley. Yes, you can.
I feel like you're punishing me.
I'm not punishing you. You are choosing to listen to the voice instead. What is the voice saying right now?
Don't eat.
Okay, so you need to do the opposite. What does it feel like to complete your meal?
This little bit of happiness inside of me.
Yeah, love you.
I love you guys too.
Watching Ashley, Kylie, I'm speechless. Like the pain, the difficulty, the challenge that this family has been through, and so many other families. How do you even react to that?
As we've been going through each episode, obviously her scream is part of your promo. And I've been trying to work out what the noise was. It's been just really, I've been struggling to wrap my head around what that noise was.
Yeah.
And to actually put it into context and to see.
It's hard to find the words, isn't it?
To see the immense struggle, like the depth of struggle it was for her to just put food in her mouth.
Yeah.
And to have it there but not be willing to swallow or like just.
Her mum, you can't let the voice win. I mean, oh my goodness. How do you deal with that?
I think a challenge like that would literally test anybody to their very core.
Every relationship. So that was Ashley. Her parents are Kendall and Andrew. Ashley is now a healthy and strong young woman 9 years later. She joined us on the episode. It was such an inspiring conversation. Oh, my goodness. So we asked her how this battle first started for her.
I started following these influencers online that were posting photos of their shopping trolleys. And I was looking to these people that were seeming like they were happy when they were going on a diet or when they were losing weight. And so I was constantly being reinforced that who I was and what I looked like was not enough.
I know that as you were going through social media and with the algorithms, you were just seeing this certain image, really dangerous diets.
I really wanted to then have a flat stomach. I'd do all the 7-minute workouts or the ab workouts. And then the more I lost, the more validation I got in the sense of, oh, you look amazing. What are you doing? You're so fit. You look great. And it was feeding me. Like I was then striving for that and I was seeking that because it's like you're possessed.
Kendall became not a mum anymore. She became a carer, which was a big task. And then I became the parent for the other 2 kids and look after the house.
Can you explain to all of us what it was like at its worst?
At its worst is that I have met the devil. You know, you could physically see Ashley, eyes roll back, and this different demonised voice would come forward. You know, it was going to war. We were basically told to take her home. She's got the most extreme eating disorder and probably the highest mortality rate and you just need to get the food in. You know, Ashley wouldn't even brush her teeth. She wouldn't even drink water because she thought it had calories in it.
I didn't want to be here. I didn't feel like anybody loved me. I didn't feel like I was worthy of being loved. And when I was admitted into hospital, into a children's mental health ward, you were on your own and you're like 12 or 13 and you've just got no family. I had mum turn up every single day at 9 a.m. and then be told to leave at night. And for someone that thought that nobody loved her but to have her mum turn up every single day, while there were other kids in there that had their mum come drop them off and then never return, I thought, wow, I'm like wasting away my life so selfishly when I have a mum and a family that's so willing to fight for me. That's when I made the decision that, all right, I'm going to give full recovery a go. And I mean, here we are 9 years later.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot. We're going to be back after the break and discuss the signs to look for if you're concerned at all about your child and how we can deal with this as parents. Okay, so you've just heard Ashley's harrowing story going to hell and back fighting anorexia. Her parents, Kendall and Andrew, just amazing people who saved Ashley. I think saved her life, certainly saved her from herself in so many ways. Kylie?
Listening to Ashley's acknowledgement that before she went to hospital, she honestly, number one, didn't believe she was lovable.
Oh my goodness.
And didn't feel loved. And you look at the immense care and attention that her parents were giving to her in spite of the way she felt. And it wasn't until she had the stark contrast of being dropped off at the hospital and seeing her mum come every single day while other kids had been dropped off and didn't see their parents at all.
Yeah.
And that was her wake-up call. But I guess the thing that stands out to me the most is even the very best of us can find ourselves at a place where our kids feel unlovable, feel unloved by us in spite of everything we are doing.
I'm always talking about how kids spell love, T-I-M-E, and talking about the importance of connection, feeling seen, heard, and valued. But there's something that I don't mention often, and I probably should, and that is that perception is reality. So our perception is that we're doing all that we can, but to our children, what's going on in their minds? How are they perceiving our relationship with them? How are they perceiving the connection? Because we know that when that relationship is solid and strong, they tend to stay away from these challenging situations.
I guess the other thing to acknowledge, though, is just like in the conversation we had in yesterday's episode about the distortion of my reality when I looked in the mirror.
Yeah.
When our kids are starting to struggle with mental illness, their reality is distorted. So we could be doing everything right, and I say that in inverted commas, but we could literally be giving them every good thing. But as they're spiraling down, their perception is so warped. It is so lacking in realness. I don't know how else to say it. And so I really just wanted to highlight that. If you find yourself in that situation, it's not to say that you've done anything wrong, but we have to find a way to help them out of it.
And that's the critical thing. If their perception is creating the reality in their minds that the connection is not there, finding a way to make the connection is just that becomes the number one job of parents.
Andrew's acknowledgement that Kendall literally became Ashley's carer in those couple of years while she was fighting this battle. Mum literally took on a 24/7 carer's role, and he had to pick up the pieces.
All right, so let's talk warning signs. This is an area that requires a high level of specialty, and I haven't studied in this area. I mean, I've got some general things that I can be useful for in conversations about anorexia and eating disorders, but It's actually not me. It's not what I do. We do have somebody who is a specialist in this area, 15 years of experience. Christine Gregory is an Illawarra-based psychologist who specialises in eating disorders. She's also a mum of 2, and Christine joins us now. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Justin. Hi, Kylie.
Christine, we've got 3 questions for you in relation to this. My first one is, what are the signs parents need to look out for if they've got concerns?
Yeah, great question. I think that I'd probably break that down into 2 sections. And what I really want to focus on for you at this point is those early warning signs, because we know that treatment is so much better if we can get it early. So some of the things that you might see early on in the piece is maybe your child is wearing really loose, baggy clothing. So that could be for 2 reasons. One might be to disguise some weight loss, but also because their skin becomes a little bit sensitive and they prefer to wear looser clothing. So that's one of the early things. Other things you might notice is not wanting to eat with you at the family dinner table, or pushing food around, or becoming particularly health conscious, which can get a bit disguised between like, oh, we're really proud of our child for wanting to eat healthy food and wanting to do more exercise, but then that can go too far. So if they're really avoiding things, like if they've always loved chocolate, and even though they're on a health kick, they're still avoiding chocolate and it's their favourite, that should be a little flag. You know, we should still be able to have some balance there. And then obviously later on, like that, the weight loss is probably one of the more significant things, avoiding social outings, not wanting to go out, and then the excessive exercise. So really prioritising exercise over everything else.
This seems insidious to me, because as a parent who wants children to be healthy and happy, seeing your child making wise diet choices and getting physically fit and active, I mean, that's got to be a wonderfully rewarding thing for both you and your child. And of course, we don't want to pathologize a child who wants to be healthy either. So this is
Exactly.
really tricky, isn't it? There's got to be a whole web, a whole lot of things that are all leaning in this direction.
You guys know your children the best. So if there's some personality changes happening along with this, if they're being really snappy at you, particularly around meal times, they're the sorts of things that add to it, other than just healthy eating.
Christine, is it possible to offer general advice to parents with such a complex reality?
Yeah, look, it is really, really complicated. And for any parents that have been through this with their child, they will know it is absolutely one of the hardest things you can possibly go through. Aside from that, one of the things that I would really say that's important is patience. And it is essentially your job as a parent to feed your child. So if they're at the dinner table and refusing to eat, you need to have all the time in the world to sit there with them and encourage them and make sure they eat their food. And you do it kindly, you do it firmly, and you just make sure it happens. It's very, very difficult because that could take hours, but you need to show that eating disorder that you're stronger than it, you've got more patience than it, you've got more time than it, and it doesn't matter what it's telling your child to do. You're going to be there and make sure they eat regardless.
I'm almost weeping as you say that, because that's what we see in the episode. I mean, the interaction that we see is precisely an extraordinarily patient mother saying, we are going to beat this voice. We're going to do whatever it takes to get this food into you.
Absolutely.
And I'm getting weepy just thinking about it. Just so profound. I love that advice.
The other thing that I think is always imperative, you just reminded me as you're talking about it, is one of the things I would do is separate the eating disorder voice from your child voice. So recognize that they're 2 different things, because when you're in the thick of this, you'll go, this isn't my child. They didn't behave like this. They didn't have this attitude. And that is the eating disorder voice that's coming through. And what you want to do is talk to your child, not to the eating disorder.
Wow.
Christine, I'm not sure if this is a fair question to ask, considering that each circumstance will be different for different families. But I'm wondering if there are any main drivers that we see across the board that would contribute.
Yeah, or create eating disorders.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a really common one that parents will often ask me is, where did this come from? How did my child end up with this? And the reality is we don't know. So we're looking at lots of DNA studies. We're looking at genetically, there does seem to be a link. We do know that there's certain personality styles that are more likely to fall into these kind of habits. So if you're more of that type A personality, you like to do things, when you do it well. So if you're going to lose weight, you're going to lose weight really well. There's some things that do contribute, but I guess I would actually warn off looking too much at what's caused it and looking at fixing it.
Yeah. Again, it goes back to that whole, we could pathologize everything and say everything's a predictor of or a cause of or a potential risk factor. And it's more about keeping the kids healthy and safe. Let me ask you this, though. I know that eating disorders existed before screens, but how much do you think that screens and specifically social media have amplified or magnified or exacerbated this issue?
I think what I see is that the screens and the media and, back in the day it used to be magazines, all of that. I think what they lead to is a dissatisfaction with body image. I think when we start looking at the extremes of anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, those factors, the incidents aren't necessarily going up based on that, but what we do know is people are less satisfied with their bodies. So it breeds more of the diet culture, which then means that the eating disorders can hide within that.
I know I said I had 3 questions, but I actually have another one for you. If parents are concerned, where do they go to get the help that they need?
Yeah, so it's really, really important to get the right medical attention. You'll end up with lots of appointments. But it's important to get people that understand and know eating disorders because, like you said before, Justin, some of these qualities are really good. So if you get someone that doesn't understand the pathology of an eating disorder, they might be recommending things that are actually going to cause harm to your child. So I would say the Butterfly Foundation has a national register of GPs, psychiatrists, psychologists, dietitians. So butterfly.org.au would be my recommendation of where to go.
Yeah, and first step. We refer to them in the show as well. So I'm really glad that you're recommending them. We think that they're great as well.
They are absolutely fantastic.
Christine Gregory is an Illawarra-based psychologist who specialises in eating disorders. Really appreciate your time, Christine. Thank you for that. Tomorrow on the pod, one of the biggest moments, unexpectedly, when everything went sideways, something that really captured everyone unawares. We'll be talking about that.
As life school parents, we think a good compliment is one that comes from the heart and it's honest.
Pretty. P-R-O. How's a P go? That way or does that an I?
Nice hair.
Does that say hair?
Nice skin.
Nice skin.
I can't read and write.
Whether or not you believe that you're limiting their opportunities for careers later, like you said, well, if they want to be a doctor, they can be a doctor. Realistically, I don't see that happening if they can't read.
The Happy Families podcast returns tomorrow. Please join us for what should be just a really riveting conversation. We really appreciate the work of Justin Rulon for Bridge Media. He's our producer. Craig Bruce is the executive producer of the podcast. And Mim Hammonds provides all the research and other support to make the pod happen. If you'd like more information to make your family happier, please visit us for more at happyfamilies.com.au, and we will link to all of the resources to help with eating disorders and the things we've talked about in this podcast in the show notes.